Okay. Today we're talking more configurator training, and in this case we're going to walk through the flexible heater configurator, which would be our silicon laminate product line. And with us today is Herb Mroz. He's an application engineer with us. And Herb, are you there?
I am, yes.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and walk us through this.
Okay, yeah, my name's Herb Mroz. I've been with Chromalox for about 7.5 years now. First year was in sales. Every other year has been in application engineering. I'm in the OEM group, and I'm kind of the person that they deemed in corporate to handle a bulk of the silicone laminate business. So chances are, if you're quoting silicone laminates, you've either talked to me before or saw that your quote was assigned to me. Always
you're an in-house expert for flexible heaters. You're an in-house expert for flexible heaters, correct? All right.
Yeah, I can do the costing in corporate and, any kind of net pricing to make sure we're selling profitable heaters.
Well, excellent. Well, let's show us how to use the configurator.
Okay.
Do that.
I'll hop over to the configurator here. You're going to enter in your password. And you're going to scroll down here to flexible. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that this configurator doesn't just do wire wound silicone laminates. You can also do etched foil silicone laminates and capped on. It doesn't specifically say capped on, but this etched foil polyamide is actually capped on heaters.
I didn't even realize that. So polyamide is capped on.
Yeah, that's your capped on there. You can see the two different temperature ratings here, the medium and the high. That's really the only time you're going to select something from this temperature rating. But for the bulk of this, I'm just going to go over wire wound because it's the more common.
Sure.
But most of these options are available for all the heater types. Your standard, you can pick from your standard shapes. You got rectangle, round will only let you input an outside diameter. Ring will give you that inside diameter. And one thing that's nice about this drum is it actually asks you for the drum size, and it'll automatically input the length of your heater. It says diameter, but we have a set length that we use for each of the vessel diameters.
So a drum heater would be a standard catalog item, like it loads it for you.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's I believe it falls in the catalog just right after the standard silicone laminates.
Okay.
Yeah, the options are a little bit limited on that one just because it has a set purpose. It has a set mounting method. But the bulk of what we see is rectangular heaters. Now, the configurator does a surprising amount for these heaters. It's not too limited. If you're trying to configure something excessively small, that's probably going to need to be routed through application engineering because the minimum width you can do on here is 1 inch. And make sure you're keeping an eye on the bottom here whenever you're entering the information because it's going to tell you exactly what your violations are. So there it says right down here at the bottom, 1 inch. So you know, all right, you can't go below that. If your width is below 1 inch, send it on in here to us. The maximum width is 36 inches. Let me unclick that ground mesh. And that's because of our silicone laminate press that we have in Utah, which is moving down to Mexico. That's just the maximum width we can press. The maximum length that you can configure is also 120 inches. Basically what we can do is we can line up a circuit and press as many layers of silicone laminate as we need to get up to 120 inches. Now, 36 is our absolute max for width, but we can do heaters that are over 120 inches in length. So if you've got one of those applications, that's going to be one of those ones that you're going to need to send into AE for a quote. The maximum wattage that you're going to be able to configure, put in a standard size heater. Maximum wattage you're going to be able to put in is 5 watts per square inch. So we'll do a 120 volt option here. You can see the amperage and the watts per square inch. If you do anything higher than that, you're going to get violations here at the bottom.
So the limitation is 5 watts per square inch. Okay.
It is. We can definitely do. We can go up to 50 watts per square inch. It's not going to have third party, and the customer is going to need to make sure that they have very, very stringent controls on it. Otherwise, that heater is going to burn up real quick. But 5 watts per square inch is the maximum that we let somebody who's configuring a heater do.
Well, anything over 5 watts a square inch, you're going to want the expertise of the application.
Oh, yeah. You're going to want to send it in to have the design double-checked. And
reviewed.
If it is over 5 watts per square inch, try and include some application details to help, usually me handling it, but to help your application engineer figure out whether or not the heater is going to be a good fit for the customer.
Okay. Now, I've noticed the Teflon lead cord come red a few times. So that the lead location and lead cord set, are those are kind of connected?
Oh, yeah. Most of the time you're going to do center width. Silicone rubber is what you're going to get from a PCN part. The more we quote, the more I see Teflon heaters. And the default length is 10 inches. That's just, how long we felt we needed to make it whenever we came up with the line. I'm not 100% positive what the maximum length is. Yeah, it looks like it's 240 inches is the maximum lead length. We can do more than that. Yeah, we can do more than that, but we're going to need to, double check and make sure that we're not throwing our resistances off.
Well, sure, there's voltage drop when you start running it that long.
Oh, yeah. 240 is pretty excessive, but basically anything. If you can't do it in the configurator, we can probably find a way to do it here in house. So let's go with. We'll just stick with the standard 10 inches here, and we'll go back to silicone rubber. Well, to go through the different leads, we do have cord sets available. Some with plugs, some without plugs, and those will default. The ones with plugs will default to 6 feet in length, and that's because we have these plug sets already built to throw onto the heaters to kind of turn them a little bit quicker, make sure our lead time is reduced.
If they wanted something special, they would send that into you.
Yeah, they would send it into us. Same thing with leads. We can do basically any length cord set that the customer's looking for. We're just going to have to cut it to size and put the plug on in-house. The cord sets without the plugs, you'll notice that the 72 is now highlighted as opposed to it being blocked out from entering anything. So if it doesn't have a plug, you can put whatever length you want because we just have that on a spool.
Okay.
And
yeah, I noticed it highlighted the ground mesh a few times. If you're getting a 3-pronged plug, you need the ground.
Yeah, that's it doesn't make sense to give you a terminal and a plug without it actually being useful. So the configurator will, if you do anything that requires ground mesh, the configurator will auto-populate that for you. Most of the ground mesh isn't too common, but it's also not uncommon. I'll speak about ground mesh a little bit more here coming up.
Sure.
When I go through those other options. Here we have our thermostat block. Basically pick process over heated area, cold area, or ambient sensing. Ambient sensing is good for heaters that are going to go into panels. We have our stock PCNs that are 2x5 and I believe 5x10 that are meant to go in panels and other enclosures to prevent condensation. And the thermostat that's going to be on those will be your ambient sensing thermostat. It's just a basic snap disc thermostat that turns on at 40 degrees and turns off at 55 degrees.
So freeze protection, basically.
Yeah, basically. Similar to our heat tracing controls. And we have a number of options here. All of these fixed thermostats are going to be snap disc thermostats, and the adjustable ones will come with a knob. The termination on it, or the thermostat itself, is a bit bulky for the adjustable thermostats, but that's just the nature of the beast. I'd say it's about 1 inch by 3 inches for the adjustable thermostat.
It has to accommodate the knob, though. So of course.
Yeah. And if you're looking for something outside of these standard ranges, this is going to be a quote that needs sent in. We can do PEPI thermostats. We can put any kind of thermostat on these things. Just for configuration purposes, it makes more sense to just have a limited fixed set to pull from. We got thermocouple options, type J, type K. We can do RTDs. That's going to be something that you need to send in now.
Okay.
I'm not sure why this thermocouple location isn't populating. Or, yeah, it looks like my configurator might have frozen up here. I'm not sure why I'm seeing
it pulled in a screw plug.
I'm not sure where that came from. Fortunately, they're giving us better configurators here coming up soon, so we won't be having that issue.
Okay, so they're going to be refreshed, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, well, just ignore that down here for now. But I'll move on to these other options that we have.
Okay.
Most of these are your mounting options. Some of them are just accessories, like grommets. Think like a shoelace style mounting method. We give the option of foil backing, strain relief, which is essentially just another grommet. We do hook and springs, which is the same type of mounting that we use on our drum heaters. It's a pretty hefty spring and a pretty heavy duty bracket. Those things, as long as you give us the correct diameter of the drum or the vessel that this is going around, we can make sure that it's going to mount and hold, as opposed to slipping down the vessel. Let's see. Ground mesh is, basically for protection. Because we included ground mesh on our design for the Boston Red Sox bench warmer, and it would have been very bad PR if we ended up electrocuting, Boston's baseball team. So we made sure that we put all kinds of ground fault protection on those heaters. And then probably the most common mounting method that you're going to come across is this PSA, which is just a 3M adhesive. It's a pretty good adhesive. It will break down over time, but it's a good adhesive if you don't want to permanently mount your silicone laminate.
Yeah, it's like a peel and stick, like a sticker. The PSA actually stands for pressure sensitive adhesive. You just peel it and push it down.
Yeah, it's just like those 3M strips that you buy with like the hooks that you stick on your wall. You just peel it off and then you slap the heater wherever you want it to mount.
Okay.
And then we have 3 different sizes or thicknesses in insulation. We have 1/8, 1/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch. The 1/8 and the 1/4 inch are the same material. They're a little bit softer, and then the 1/2 inch is actually a more firm insulation. It's just basically silicone rubber foam that we bond to the top side of the heater for customers that maybe don't want to worry about wrapping our heaters in insulation, which we recommend. If you need to apply heat to something, it makes sense to insulate around the heater. That way you're making sure you're concentrating your heat on your process as opposed to having too many losses. And one thing that I do want to note, this area right here, this option specifications, this thing is great. It'll update. It'll tell you exactly what you need to worry about. I think mine might be frozen right now, but if it does look like mine's frozen, but all of these options here, like thermostat placed over heated section, if you're having some kind of amperage issue or voltage issue where the thermostat won't work with your line voltage, it'll pop up a notification here that'll tell you, hey, just be aware of this. You can put a thermostat on here, but you're going to have to run it in pilot duty, which means you're going to have to run power to the thermostat, run that back to a controller, and then have the controller turn the heater on and off.
Okay.
The bottom down here will tell you what you're doing wrong or what you need to populate. And then this area right here will tell you exactly what you need to have on hand to have this heater function optimally. That's about.
Let's look at the pricing, and I'm a little curious about the net pricing tab behind it.
Oh, the net pricing tab. This basically just gives you your commission breaks. So this is a
competitive situation scenario.
Yeah, you can come over here and work 9 down to 5. If you want 10% commission, configure the design, save a part number, and email AE about it or send in the quote, and we'll be able to throw you back 10% commission pricing very quickly because the design's already worked up.
Can you look up part number just so we can see a price on this?
Yeah, let me, it looks like this might have frozen out. Let me re-log in.
Well, no, I just meant at the bottom.
Oh, you're saying, yeah, it's like frozen up. Here, let me, I'll pull it up again.
Okay.
It shouldn't take too long. Okay.
All right, we're back at it now.
Okay. So I'm gonna once you have all of your criteria in here you can see thermostat placed over heated section. Heater's not flexible on the thermostat, and it will be wired integrally. So you're ready to send this quote in to AE for net 10 pricing or some other competitive pricing that isn't standard here in this net pricing tab. So what you do is you click look up part number, and right here it says part number not found in the configured database. So what you're going to do now is assign new part number and save, and that'll populate a part number right here for you. So whenever you create the quote, you just take this 9-digit part number and you open a new part number quote, put this part number in, and let us know exactly what you're looking for. Say, you know, I'm looking for best net 10 pricing, or I'm looking for a price of $50.25 for a competitive bid. AE will look at it. We'll make sure that it's a profitable heater, it's a good design, and then we'll send that quote right back to you. These part number quotes are very easy for us to do just because the design work's already done. It's just us, you know, looking at the costing and looking at what list price is and working up discounts from there.
So for speed, you would encourage those to configure it first and then enter the quote.
Oh, most definitely, because you also get a jump on the design work. So you guys send in the quote for a configured part number. We quote it to you. Customer issues a PO. It's easier for you to enter the order because you have a part number. AE approves the order. It goes into our Tennessee plant and then eventually our Mexico facility. And the design engineer already has that design set up, and all they have to do is, you know, run the last few checks in engineering, and you got a heater coming out in 20 days.
And 20 days is the standard lead time for silicon laminates, correct?
It's a standard lead time for new designs.
Okay.
And that's an extra 5 days built in for engineering time. Our standard lead time after the first order is going to be 15 working days.
Oh, good. So it improves. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. These we've got the manufacturing of these heaters down pretty good. It's a very interesting process to watch, and the plant does a very good job of building these things so that they won't fail.
Excellent, excellent. Well, can you think of anything else that we need to know about this configurator, or that's pretty detailed?
No, that's basically all there is to it. If now, like I said, if you're looking for a design and maybe you want a PEPI thermostat, and we obviously don't have that in the drop-down box, don't hesitate to send it in. If you need to communicate somebody directly, drop me an email, herb.mroz@chromalox.com. This is one of the easier configurators just because it's such a basic design, and it'll let you know if there are any errors, if your design is questionable in any way. And you know, it's a very good configurator for a very good product.
Excellent. Well, Herb, I appreciate it.
You have any questions or need me to clarify anything, D.Eric?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well, and we'll have an instruction manual for all these drop-downs with more details as well. So that'll be good. With that, I'm going to stop the